Football fans often cheerfully chant that they will support their team until they die. But how long will they live? Can we expect some fans to go on for much longer than others?
So I've crunched the numbers. I looked at club catchment areas, and within them I identified 100,000 people, those living closest to the ground. It's a bit rough and ready. It's really about towns rather than football fans. But I pulled out the stats on life expectancy, obesity and binge drinking and produced my own league tables. The results are startling. So here's the top of our life expectancy Premier League. Crawley Town are England's longevity champions. Chelsea fans may note that they are still third. Turning now to the bottom of the table, Manchester City and Liverpool do rather badly, as do Birmingham City and Aston Villa. Clubs in more prosperous areas do rather better.
Now, the idea that people living in poorer areas don't live as long as people living in richer areas isn't exactly shocking. Even so, the difference is enormous. Now, this is Chelsea. And remember, we're not talking about one street, one neighbourhood. We are talking about 100,000 people in this area. Men live for an average of 81 years. The equivalent figure for Birmingham City is 72 years. That's 9 years less. That's an enormous amount. You can see that it's hard to live healthily on a tight budget through other indicators.
In the Chelsea catchment area, just 13% are obese. For Aston Villa, the equivalent figure is 26%, twice as high. What about binge drinking? For men, that's consuming 8 units in one session, and it's more prevalent in poorer areas. But there are local cultural factors to take into account. The safe drinking champions at the top of the table are West Ham, followed closely by Birmingham City, West Brom and Bradford. You can see areas with big Muslim populations drink less. Turning now to the bottom of the table, for Sunderland, Bristol City, York and Sheffield United, 30% of the catchments reported a binge in the previous week. Newcastle is propping up the table on 41%.
But the way that these factors interact is not straightforward. Here near Preston North End, male life expectancy is just under 75. That puts it roughly in line with Mexico. Now that's a problem that's pretty common to English inner cities and other East Lancashire towns. But the story is complicated. For example, here in Preston, there isn't a problem with obesity. And it's that complication that makes this issue such a challenge for policymakers. So no two areas are alike. National and global forces may be the key drivers of inequality, but the policy responses must often come at the street, the neighbourhood, or even the club level.